This week's reading is a compilation of excerpts outlining various action sequences after the breadth of a much larger strategy is detailed earlier in the book. Although these are other action sequences in the full text of the novel, these chosen scenes are offered to provide the listener a glimpse of the complexity of the greater plan. Chapter 19, Section 1. In the woods outside of Arberchet, Goose and Ox were poised to strike. With reconnaissance and pattern analysis of this terminal end of the Baku-Tbilisi Cars or BTK railway complete, Goose apportioned his force at junctures that were vulnerable. The terrain surrounding this end of Turkey was wild. Towering points cast shadows over the rails. The valleys through which the BTK track ran were lush after a season's soaking. Now was a time when the frost descended from the mountains and coated a morning's sunlit dew. Each team of two crept out of the encroaching forest. Exposed only were the track that had been laid, silent when no trains were speeding along its length. The preset charges of Semtex were tamped with sandbags to maximize the energy onto the rail and structures below upon which it was suspended. At Ox's position, a single piece of equipment was laid, cast aside, and forgotten. A single shell from a 37mm Marsh mortar, ironically, a mortar size of uniquely Iranian design. Of course, the general idea was that the Iranians would want to avenge the TB2 drone strikes along the Zangezur corridor. This detail had just been thrown into the equation as a fairly obvious piece of deception, believable only by the pressure Iran felt now and its crucible of deceit. Cyber attacks at ports, ballistic missiles misbehavingly ignoring guidance commands, the backbone of its supply chain strategy severed like soggy spaghetti. Its nuclear facilities raw and exposed with power outages and centrifuges spinning into pretzels. The mullahs under pressure, lashing out, its global designs set afire. Into this heady brew, a blow to Turkey's own regional aspirations would meet its doom. Nearly in perfect synchronicity, the explosions ripped a hole in the stillness of the passing dusk. Goose, Ox, and the partisans departed the area with urgency, as Turkish troops had been vectored north, as reported by the single Kurd safe housekeeper at Yukoslavka. Disbanded, they bid adieu to their new friends with mission complete. Before the snow flies, Goose and Ox began their trek home to Tbilisi. Chapter 20, Section 1. At Malishka, Mojo was poised to set his final trap, for through the small town the railway that branched north and northwest from the Iranian border cleaved a path hewn through rough hills. The opportunity for its interdiction had passed. Armenian troops were dispersed in heavily armed patrols as far as the eye could see. It was entirely possible that the target could be hit at a later time when things had calmed down. This development will heckle his thoughts when he grew old. Could've, would've, should've. Should I have broken down the team into two pieces and stuck the Lacan corridor with a smaller force, thereby freeing up a contingent to hit this piece of rail unsupervised? With the force he had remaining, he spoke quietly and gave them some options. Some decided to stay in the area, with the explosives, and give it a go in another week. Others decided it was time to call it a day and return to Yukosova, or wherever they thought their fortunes lie. Mojo thanked them and made arrangements for each to receive a life-altering amount of cash through Wowzer. Alone, Mojo knew what he must do. Make his way north to Tbilisi to be reunited with his one love, Medya Azad, the sniper from Idlib. If this preview broadcast has piqued your curiosity, the book in its entirety will be available for purchase from Amazon.com. Simply search The Zangezur Campaign by Mike Bennett and peruse the catalog of his latest works. Be sure to tune in to Radioactive Redhead to hear further excerpts from the Warlock series. This concludes today's featured segment from Radioactive Redhead. May your days be filled with good memories and laughter, and God bless.